All right, Sean. So we are looking at the Gib agency. This is located in Dallas. Right off the bat, I can see that this website. I mean, personally, I like this website. I like the design of this website. It looks very easy, flows very easily. I like the colors, I like the pictures. It looks like a very nicely designed website. What are your thoughts?
Agreed. You definitely think the agency's professional. Agreed. I like the colors. The very first one, when the home, page comes up, draws you in, you immediately look at it. And certainly the French Bulldog. I got a French Bulldog, so it's always nice seeing one of those. I was immediately thinking, is that a life preserver? Because I know mine can't swim very well, but anyway, not that important here. But I agree. The website looks nice.
So one of the first things that we wanted to look at is we saw right off the top is they mentioned payments. And I know this is a contention that we often have with a lot of different agency websites is, can I actually make a payment on the website? How easy is that? How intuitive is that? So let's go and click on payments and see what they got. And right off the bat, they take me to the different websites, so the different carriers. So I can see, okay, if I have AIG foremost, we're assuming I know who my carrier is. I don't know about you, but Sean, how many times did people call the agency to make a payment and you would say, who's your carrier? And they'd say, I don't know, like you guys.
Yeah, all the time. They think the agency is the carrier, So we've actually made two assumptions here. One, that they got to your website, that they remember the website and didn't just hunt down an email. But let's say they did. And then, second hurdle is, oh man, who's my carrier? Which one is it? Is it the Hartford, or did I have the Hartford 2 years ago? And, it's super common. We've seen this time and time again. We think we're doing a good job in giving our clients some resources by giving them the carriers we work with. It's kind of the only tool that's been out there in the independent space, really until now. And so we think we're doing a good job. And so it's not a knock on the agency. This is very common to do this. You think you're helping them. But when you put yourself in the client's perspective, again, the first question is, who's my carrier? And then,
and not only that, but it's who's my carrier. But then let's assume I know who the carrier is. Well, what's the one question they're going to ask is, what's the policy number? I don't know my policy number.
Exactly.
Do I have to have an online account? How do I do this? I got to go through, you're sending me to the carrier page, but I'm assuming the carrier page is not going to know who I am. And I've got to put in more information that I likely don't have. Or worse, I got to create an account and hopefully remember the password the next time I need to use it.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we send them to the carrier site, pretty much every carrier does this. What's your policy number? It's either policy number to create the account, or, hey, I don't want to create an account, I just want to pay the bill. You go to the bill pay without logging in, and what's your policy number? Because how do you pay a bill without the policy number? And so it just creates this little friction for the policyholder who's frustrated. And then ultimately what they're doing is they're now coming back to the site. And what I see, even before the payments, just my eyes are trained to do this when I'm looking for service, is I look at the top right. This agency is driving people to call them. You can almost guarantee they get a lot of calls because it's front and center. It's right there. It's not bad to have people call the agency, but does the client want to call? Do they want to do this? Is it Saturday? Is it Sunday? Is it 10 p.m.? So they're driving people back here, but they had to make a couple of steps and hunt down to find this, to then ultimately go, gosh, I got to make a phone call here.
How does obviously we're biased here at GloveBox. How would GloveBox solve this?
The ideal way is you remove the friction. You remove the carrier links directly, because again, we already proved that they're not very useful. You replace the phone number with what you expect when you go to any sort of a site to service. You go put client login. For us, we say client hub login, and the policyholder logs in, and now we know who they are. We've got the context. We know what policies they've got. We know the carrier. We know the policy number. We allow the client to click, hey, I need to pay a bill. And then we go, what policy are you paying the bill on? It's my auto policy. Great. Here's your policy number. You're going to need to go right here to do it. You paste it, and the client's off and on their day. But the key nuance here is that a client doesn't always need to just pay a bill. They might need to pay a bill and add another card, or request another quote, or request an auto ID card or something like that. So there's these other workflows that need to be addressed on the website, to make it easy for the client.
Yeah, I mean, so we know that if I'm coming there to make a payment, I come to the website, I don't know the information. So now I see, okay, well, contact us. So, okay, great. Let me contact the agency. And we have here, we can see, I'm assuming the agency principal up top, and it is a form. So it's not really a contact us. It's just sort of some information.
Yeah, again, just frustrating for the client. A little nuance on this one is I'm coming here to contact my agency. And this form has a bit of a quoting feel to it. You put your name and your information in, and what are you interested in? I'm interested in getting an auto ID card. I need to pay my bill. I need a certificate. I need a certificate, and I just bought another house, that I need to add something. So ultimately the friction here for the client is I need to get something done. And you get here, you fill out the form, and you're going, God, now I got to remember to follow up on it to make sure I get it. And even friction for the agency, this has to land in an email. Someone's got to get it. Someone's got to route it to the right person to then start the phone and email chain with the client of what are we trying to do here? I need to collect this information. And so back to your point on the payments is what GloveBox does is we surface this up. What are you looking to do? And then we have intelligent forms that can be pre-populated with the data that we already know about the policyholder and their policy to say, oh, you need to do this and that. Well, let's fill these forms out of exactly what you need. And the weight off the client's shoulder when they can fill out everything they need to do and put it back to the agency, they're done. And then the agency, can more easily manage their workflows and go, oh, this is a auto ID card request. This goes to John in the office. This goes over here.
It's more like one call. Think about like one call resolution. That's kind of what you're trying to do. And instead of on the phone, you're doing it in a digital environment, which is, I think, it's how we solve that problem. So, I mean, again, if you are watching this, Gib agency, I think we both think your website's very, very nice. It's very cool. I do like it, the design. I think there's a lot of value here. It's simple, it's clean, it's easy. It's even easy to navigate. I'll give them that. Like I know what I'm doing. I think there are just some small tweaks that could be made here to really help, really improve the customer experience for the customer's sake who's on the website trying to get something done.
Nailed it.